In The Wizard of Oz, the moment that changes everything is the tornado. Dorothy is suddenly lifted out of the world she knows and carried somewhere completely unfamiliar. But the tornado is more than just a dramatic moment in the story. Symbolically, it represents something many of us experience at some point in our lives. It represents awakening. In the film, Dorothy is trying to make sense of a world that suddenly feels chaotic and overwhelming. The winds begin to rise, the sky darkens, and before she fully understands what's happening, the house itself is lifted into the storm. Everything familiar disappears, and it disappears right beneath her. Kansas, the place she's always known, is no longer stable. When we look at that moment symbolically, the tornado represents disruption. Awakening rarely begins where everything in life feels comfortable. More often, it begins when something shakes the foundation of our identity. Something in life has changed. Sometimes it's loss. Sometimes it's the realization that the life we built no longer feels aligned with who we are becoming. Many of us, including myself, can look back and recognize the moment in our lives that felt like a tornado, a moment that we thought was stable and then it suddenly shifts. Sometimes it's traveling to and living in a new country. Sometimes it's having children. Sometimes it is a divorce. Sometimes it's a death in our families that completely changes the trajectory of our lives, that completely changes the trajectory of who we were, that completely changes and dismantles our self-identity. I've had moments like that in my life where the direction that I thought I was going completely changed. And I had to begin asking deeper questions about who I was and what my life is really about. At the time, those moments can feel confusing, even overwhelming. But looking back, we are often, and they are often, the moments that begin our greatest transformation. During the awakening, something important begins to happen internally. The identity we built from our environment, expectations, and conditioning begins to loosen. The thing that once defined us no longer feels solid. That can feel unsettling, but it's also the beginning of freedom. Freedom! The tornado does not destroy Dorothy, it moves her. When Dorothy finally lands in Oz, the world looks completely different. The colors are brighter. It's like, I've arrived. The possibilities are wider, and nothing operates the way it once did. Symbolically, this represents expanded awareness. Once awakening begins, we cannot see the world in the same way it began. It becomes technicolored. It's no longer just bland grays and black and white. It is vibrant. It is life. It is us. So many people can remember the moment where their tornado began, at a moment when something shifted so deeply that life before and life after felt different. At the time, it may have felt like chaos, but those storms often become the beginning of the journey. After the storm passes, Dorothy finds herself in a completely new world. And the next step in the journey is understanding who she is within this new reality, who you are in this new web of being. And in the next episode, we will look more deeply and closely at Dorothy herself because Dorothy represents the part of us that senses there is more to life than what we've been told. This is the next step in the journey through Oz. I'll see you on the yellow brick road.